What can you tell me about Kirk Franklin in 2002? What do you remember about that part of your life?
There was so much criticism that I received from Stomp with God's property, and the level of criticism that I was receiving from the church a lot of times was very overwhelming for me. It was a lot. And and so and then of course you get sometimes consumed with the mainstreamness of it all. So, you also find your heart leaning into wanting to try to create another stomp and another mainstream moment. So you kind of get lost in the mainstreamness of it all, per se.
Mm,
And so that's why Rebirth was such a momentous moment for me, just because it just captured me feeling lost and still being feeling found.
mm. And it's
Yeah, just kind
interesting to look at your life since then as well and the other albums. And in some ways, you've had many rebirths since then. Having a look at your journey and how you've been able to share more and more, not just musically, but even from your heart too, how you've journeyed through this career that you've had. I've,
yeah,
I've been listening to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
your recent interviews and the vulnerability that you've been able to share as well. That is a hard thing to learn how to do when you've been through pain in your life. Can you tell me about how you learned about the power of vulnerability through those years and those multiple rebirths?
To be very honest with you, when I hear people talk about me being, I guess, what they would consider a very vulnerable and transparent man, I can be honest and say that it wasn't something I had to learn. It's something that is very much part of just the DNA of who I am, that I've always been very comfortable asking for help
Mm,
and very comfortable acknowledging those areas that I know are not like Christ yet, or or the areas that I found myself in the battle between flesh and spirit, as Paul would say, "O wretched man that I am," who will
mm,
free me from this body of death. I find myself living in that duality.
mm,
And so in that duality, all I know is to scream for help, you
mm.
know? And and in that screaming, I have found an unspeakable amount of grace that is more than what I could ever earn or deserve,
Mm, mm,
even now.
even now. And so, with this musical legacy that continues, I want to talk about the experience that you want for somebody who comes to your concerts because we're looking so forward to having you with us in December. It's more than just this incredible backlog of music that you have to create. If it was just about putting a playlist together, I'm sure you could do that in your sleep. But what do you want for the person who's going to be coming along and experiencing this evening with you?
Well, it's 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 I want to apologize now for the person coming, because in all fairness, it's been 30 years I've been trying to get to see you guys. I've been waiting. You have no idea how many times it was close. Like you, man, I've gotten calls and there have been conversations where it almost like I was going to come. I was almost coming. Oh, you know what? This year it's um going to happen. We just got a call. They want you to come to Australia, and it didn't work out. So that has happened on numerous occasions in my career, and it's always a letdown. It's always a disappointment. And so, uh, can you imagine having that build up where you've been trying to get somewhere for so
Yeah,
long?
I can because I've
So
been
I
waiting that whole time. I know exactly what that feels like.
I just think there's going to be a combustion, that's going to be an explosion where I probably would just explode and won't be nothing else on the stage but boots and a hat. I don't know, you know,
But they'll be nice
because I
boots.
just, yeah, so I want to apologize now for the energy and the excitement and the passion and the fact that I will be 17 hours ahead
Mm.
of where I live is even crazier for me as well.
Yeah. And I mean, even coming back to, when I was first sharing what it's like to journey alongside you as well. What is it like to have these stories of people who've journeyed with you as you have journeyed with them? I'm sure you've had many stories now of people who've had their different versions of what I've shared with you today. What is that like for you personally?
I try to keep it very much on the cross. I try to keep it very much focused on Christ because for me, that can be a little bit overwhelming.
Mm,
And I can, is is I learned early on, and I'm not saying that I'm good at always remembering it, but I learned early on that glory is only built for God's shoulders. It's
mm,
not built for man's. Is that glory that was created for him? If we try to hold on to it, it'll crush us. It will literally crush us. And so um, glory must be projected on him.
mm,
And so is I try to be very intentional to make sure that in those conversations that Jesus matters and that his glory is greater than anything I could ever get.
mm. Is there anything that helps you remember that?
My own fragility, my own fragility. Was it the prophet Isaiah that said that that when he heard the voice of the Lord, he said, "And I am a man of unclean lips."
Yeah.
Yeah, so against thee and thee only have I sinned. I mean, it is in his presence that you realize how small you are.
Mm,
And I think that those are the things that remind me of my deep, deep need for him.
mm. And I think for any aspiring musician, somebody who looks to you and to your example, both personally and professionally, of what is possible, do you have an encouragement maybe for those two who are that next generation that's always rising up, looking to take the gospel in music to as many corners of the world as they can? What's your encouragement to them?
Speak to the people that God put you in front of. Build the community that God says yes to. A lot of times we can envy what the other person has on the other side of the fence, being jealous and envious of their grass looking greener. But to be able to be good at what you do that God has trusted you with, you've got to serve where you are. You got to put 100% into where you are. I've only wanted to be a gospel artist. I never wanted to be a pop artist, never wanted to be an R&B artist. I wanted to be a gospel artist. And I wanted to be good at my craft so that I can make God's name great. And so you have got to you have to study your craft, and you can't super spiritualize your craft. You can't just say, well, the Holy Spirit will meet me when I get there. You just can't flow and not have preparation.
Mm,
That's laziness. That's laziness.
that's a word.
And so, yeah, so you can't super spiritualize laziness.
Mm.
That you have to be intentional because that gift is on borrowed time.
Mm. And I can say too, it'll be hard for you to say it, but I'll say it on your behalf. There are so many incredible pieces of advice you've shared through other interviews and such in the past too. I'd encourage anybody who wants to learn from a great man of God who's walking it out in the realest way possible. Kirk Franklin, we look forward to seeing you in December. It's been a long wait, but we know it's going to be worth it. So thank you again for making some time for us today.
So excited. So excited. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching that with us. If you want to watch the next video just like it, this is the one for you.
We're so grateful to have your company on this channel, and there are so many more incredible stories. So make sure you like and subscribe right here.